The 2024 NFC North is absolutely insane and off to a historic start. We're going to talk about it here on Verts. What's up, guys? My name is Harrison Graham. You're watching Verts, an NFL and college football show here on YouTube. I'm still in Chicago, speaking of the NFC North, and I'm in that country, and my goodness, NFC North country. This division is absolutely unbelievable and off to a historic start. We're going to break it all down, but if you want daily coverage, NFL, college football, trade buzz with the NFL trade deadline around the corner, I think I'm going to put, or I've got a Max Crosby video out on the channel as well. Go check it all out. We got more coming. Do not miss out. All right. I don't want to be that guy that over exaggerates about things, but we've never seen this before, literally, when it comes to a division through 6 weeks. And let me just kind of break down the numbers and we'll kind of react and explore who could win this division, why each team is so successful. Well, so far, the NFC North is a combined 17-5. And really it's 16-4 because the Vikings played the Packers and beat them head-to-head, so that's a win for the Vikings, loss for the Packers. When they're not playing each other, this division, 16-4. It just dominant. Dominant. And Adam Schefter had this note that the NFC North's win percentage combined of 77.3% win percentage is the best since the NFL merger took place in 1970, aka 54 years ago. And I knew this division would be good coming into the year. I thought it had a chance to be the best division in football. I did not necessarily think it would be historic. And I think it's at least a possibility that we could see the first time since the NFL added the seventh wild card or a playoff team in each conference where the entire division could make the playoffs. Now, it's a long shot. When these teams start playing each other, chances are one of these teams will get squeezed out. But typically by week 5, week 6, teams start to get weeded out within divisions, right? Like you're already seeing it across the NFL, right? I mean, last night, the New Orleans Saints lost their 5th straight game. They're 2-5. Their season's over. So like you look at the NFC South right now, the Panthers and the Saints are done. It's already a 2-team division. Atlanta and Tampa at 4-2. That'll probably be nip and tuck throughout the year. NFC West, Rams at 1-4. Now, could they go on a run when they get healthy? Maybe, because San Francisco and Seattle are 3-3, so they're only 2 games back. There's a chance, but I doubt it. And the Cardinals at 2-4, they're a year away. So that's at most a 2-team division, maybe 3, but at least a team's already weeded out. NFC East, Giants at 2-4, they're done. I'd say the other 3 are still alive: Washington, Philadelphia, and Dallas. But the point is 40% of the NFC is already out of it, 35%. The NFC North, the Vikings, 5-0. Detroit, 4-1. Green Bay and Chicago, both 4-2. All 4 very much alive, and all 4 feel like they can contend this year. And you look at just the dominance, too. I think point differential is a very good indicator of how good a team is, especially the more games that get played. There's outliers. Like, remember last year, the Dolphins had a crazy point differential. Well, they scored 70 points in a game. I mean, that's going to skew the numbers a little bit. But over the course of a season, if those numbers keep going up, like the Vikings in 5 games are plus 63. They're winning games by an average of over 12 points per game. The Lions are plus 60. That's with a loss. The Packers are plus 41 with 2 losses. The Bears are plus 47 with 2 losses. Like, this division isn't just winning games. They're kicking ass and taking names. Like, they are dominating the NFL right now. And I just want to go through each team and kind of explore why they're good, if it's sustainable, where I think this kind of ends up. And before we do that, you guys predict it at this point in the season. Who's going to win this division? You think it's going to be the Vikings, Lions, Packers, or Bears? Because I think this is the only division in football where all 4 teams could conceivably still win the division, which is crazy because it's the toughest division to win right now in the NFL. Vikings, Lions, Packers, Bears. Who do you guys think wins the NFC North? Let's start with the first place Vikings. Why are they good this year? Well, I think you could make a very good argument that they have a top 3 to top 5 coaching staff right now. Brian Flores, other than maybe Steve Spagnuolo, as a defensive coordinator, is as good as it gets. And the beauty for the Vikings is he may not be going anywhere. He may not get another chance to be a head coach because of the lawsuit situation, Dolphins in the NFL. Him and Tua butted heads. And when you hire a coach, you got to be able to trust that he can mesh with your quarterback. And I think that's a real question mark with Flores. Well, that's a benefit for Minnesota because he's terrific. He has incredible blitz packages, the disguises in his coverages. I mean, Brock Purdy and CJ Stroud are going up to him after the game like, dude, you confused the hell out of me. Like, hell of a job. Like, he's very good. And Kevin O'Connell, their head coach, is one of the brightest young offensive minds in the NFL who calls plays and has Sam Darnold rolling so far. I'm not going to say Kevin O'Connell's a top 3 head coach, but he's for sure top 10. And when you pair that with Flores, that's a top 5 coaching combination in the NFL. Like, you watch them play, like, they're well coached. they know what they're doing. And, Darnold, with the right coaching and weapons around him with Jetta and Jordan Addison, and, Aaron Jones is banged up right now, but he's been pretty good. He can play. I mean, we've seen that this year. I don't think he's going to win MVP or anything. I think he'll probably fall back down to earth a little bit. He did that in that Jets game, his last game out, but he's clearly capable of being at least pretty solid. And with the talent they have, if he's just distributing the ball, that's really all they need him to be with how good they're playing on defense. All right, Detroit, same deal. Really well coached. Dan Campbell's a great motivator. Obviously, Ben Johnson's a great offensive coordinator. I think he's the most creative play caller in the league right now. I mean, they were just embarrassing Dallas with some of those play calls. And someone asked him this week, like, are you worried about, putting too many of these trick plays on film? And he said, the bag is very deep. I'm not concerned about that. It's like, what's he going to do next? I mean, he's running lateral plays to Penei Sewell. He's having offensive lineman Dan Skipper run routes. I mean, he's fantastic. For them to get him back this year was really, really, I mean, you could argue the best acquisition in the NFL this year was Detroit keeping Ben Johnson. I mean, he gives them a real shot to win the Super Bowl this year. And I've said this for years. Jared Goff in good conditions with a good offensive line is, I don't want to say he's as good as anybody, but he's damn near close. Because when he's kept clean, he throws an excellent ball. He targets the middle of the field, and he's got Amon-Ra St. Brown who can do that. They finally got their speed guy in Jamison Williams who could take the top off. He's done that several times. They have 2 excellent backs in Montgomery and Gibbs. Laporta's off to a bit of a slow start, but we know what he's capable of as a tight end. And their defense is at least solid. Now, the Aiden Hutchinson thing is a big deal, losing him. I expect Detroit to be active at the deadline to try and replace him. But nonetheless, this is a very, very good and very, very well coached team. Aaron Glenn, people have mixed opinions on him. I think he's at least solid, their defensive coordinator. Like, he's had head coach interviews. Clearly, people respect him. So if they add an impactful defensive player, they're going to have a shot to really ascend. Like, I still kind of like Detroit more than Minnesota just because Goff has been there and done that. We haven't seen Darnold under the bright lights. Like, let's see down the stretch how he performs. They're clearly a playoff caliber team. They're 5-0, but let's kind of see. Detroit, they look like a juggernaut if their defense can hold up. Okay, Green Bay. Jordan Love, he's a little erratic, but when he's on, he's clearly capable. I mean, second half of last year, he was very good. Matt LaFleur is an excellent head coach. Jeff Hafley, jury's still out defensively. I think they've been better. He's better than Joe Barry, obviously, but that's still a question mark. But they've just got a lot of young weapons. They got a lot of young talent. And they're an organization that has a proven track record of winning. Even if they're not a high-end Super Bowl contender, they're clearly a playoff contender. And the thing about Jordan Love is he's kind of one of those quarterbacks that if he just gets hot at the right time, kind of like he did last year, you can make a run. I mean, they were very close to beating the 49ers in the divisional round last year. And if they do, they get a rematch with Detroit. Who knows? They kicked Detroit's ass on Thanksgiving a year ago. So it's not like that would have been impossible to pull off. Clearly, Green Bay is a well-run organization with a lot of talent. And then you get to the Bears, who, from a roster talent standpoint, I think has a top 12 roster in the NFL. Offensive line still has question marks, but Caleb Williams is starting to turn a corner in his rookie year. He's playing really well. They've gotten DeAndre Swift going out of the backfield. A lot of good weapons. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen got going last week. Cole Kmet's an excellent tight end. Rome Odunze's had moments. I think he's going to really have a good second half of the year. And more so than probably any team in the division outside of maybe Minnesota, although it's close, this defense is excellent. And Matt Eberflus, say what you want about him as a head coach, the jury's still out there, but as a defensive play caller, he's excellent. He's mixed up. He's willing to blitz more, different coverages. He kind of just used to be like this cover two shell guy. He has evolved his defense a lot. He disguises his looks a ton. And this defense is rolling right now. And they found kind of some unsung heroes rushing the passer. Javon Dexter, their second-year defensive tackle, is really taken off. They traded for Darrell Taylor at the, right before roster cutdowns. He's been good. Montez Sweat's been solid. And their secondary might be the best in the league. So, and you got to give credit to Shane Waldron, the offensive coordinator. He took some heat early, but he's clearly gotten into a rhythm with Caleb recently. And the offense looks good. So I think constant theme of this division right now is all the quarterbacks are playing pretty well. The defenses, for the most part, are good. And these teams look well coached. I still question Matt Eberflus as a high-end head coach, but clearly he's respected in that locker room. Clearly, defensively, he knows what he's doing. And if Waldron keeps the offense playing like it is, well, that's kind of all you need. So this team's tough. None of these teams are a team you want to match up with come playoff time, down the stretch. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games, all four of these teams. I think at minimum, all four of these teams are probably going to be 9-8 or better. The question is, who gets squeezed out? Who's going to win the division? Can all four sneak in? That's going to be tough, obviously. But man, this division's fun to watch. And you know what's interesting too? Is forever, other than like the Packers, this division was like hard nose, grit and grind, like bring your lunch pail to work. And there is still a lot of that. Like the Bears and Vikings and the Lions as well, like physical football teams. But these offenses are juggernauts. The Vikings have the best receiver in the NFL in Justin Jefferson, a great number 2 in Jordan Addison. They're high flying all over the place. The Lions look like a track team with J-Mo and Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs. Green Bay's got weapons everywhere offensively. This Tucker Kraft at tight end, he's excellent too. Watson, Dobbs, etc. Wicks, they got guys running around. The Bears, have they ever had receivers like this? The answer is no. I mean, it's fun to watch. Like, it's not just these boring 13-10 games that are entertaining because the defenses are knocking your head off. These teams can score while also play really good defense. So this division is going to be outstanding to watch down the stretch. And what's cool is the NFL scheduled a lot of the divisional games in the second half of the season. So it's going to be gut check time in November, in December, big games week after week after week. And I, for one, cannot wait to watch it. So again, you guys let me know who's going to win this division, Vikings, Lions, Packers, or Bears. And shout out your favorite team in the comments as well. Don't forget to subscribe to 4 Verts, more NFL and college football content coming your way on a daily basis.